Hello, you're listening to the Leadership Woman podcast with me, Jill Saville. And today is a beautifully sunny day, and I hope it is where you are. I am going to be talking about something I'm leading the aspiring leaders through. That's a young group, an international group. And we've been looking at the 15 invaluable laws of John Maxwell. Quite an old book, and probably not the kind of book that these young people would have chosen to read, but we are managing to find the nuggets within it. And what I want to focus on today is the law of environment. And so while I'm talking, I want you to think about, are you in the right environment? He describes it, he says, growth thrives in conducive surroundings. So look at your surroundings. The way that this was brought home to me was when I went to a conference and they held up an acorn, and they put this acorn on the desk and they said, will this acorn grow into anything there? And you look and it's obvious, it's sitting on a desk, it will never ever grow. And then they said, but if we put it in a pot, if we put it in soil, it would hold it upright for security. If it had the nutrients, if it had water, would it grow then? And that to me brought home this idea of things that there's nothing wrong with the actual thing. It's still an acorn, but it depends on its surroundings. Keep thinking about that question then. Are you in the right environment for growth? And of course, if you're a leader of a company, you probably will be ahead of the class. He says something like, if you're always ahead of the class, then you're in the wrong class. But that's in terms of growth. So you're not leading an organization necessarily as a growth environment for your own growth. So you would need to be looking outside. Where can you find a conducive environment, a peer group, in order to continue to grow? So you're looking for somewhere where you're not comfortable, you're slightly uncomfortable, so that you can grow. And I also thought about a live example of someone who was doing really, really well where they were. And lots of people said many good things about them. And then they moved somewhere else, and all of a sudden their performance went downhill. Now, this was the same person, but their performance went downhill. Not only that, they started to be off with stress. And unfortunately, that person eventually left the organization after many painful months. So when you think about that this was the same person, but in fact, that person did not flourish in the new team. It was possibly to do with their direct manager, who was over-controlling, who didn't value them, didn't appreciate them. And so that environment wasn't the right one. Now, what I would have wanted for that person was that they appreciated that it wasn't the right environment. If this is you, think about it. If it's not the right environment, then the choice is up to you. The choice is up to you. Don't spend many painful months going through a process to be moved out. You make the choice. Who you are today is the result of every choice you've ever made. I can't remember who once said that. Somebody more intelligent than me, I'm sure. but you are the sum of all of your choices. So the power is in your hands. So who do you want to spend time with then? I want to focus on people. People tend to be the main focus of our environment. So the people that you're with, do you feel better or worse in their company? Do they make you feel better or worse? Now, there are some people who have similar views, and you can go and have a really good moan, can't you? But it's full of negativity. It's full of real outrage, anger, and actually it's not doing you any good at all to just sit in that negativity. So, do people make you feel better? Do they encourage you to try things? Or when you say, you know what, I think I want to try this, do they say, oh no, I know somebody who tried that once and it didn't go so well. So do they encourage you to try things? And remember that actually you don't need people's approval or permission. It's very nice to have a supportive peer group, but you don't need their approval or permission. When you're looking for people then to spend your time with, there's a 33% rule. Initially, John Maxwell quoted this woman, Sue Enquist. She was a softball coach, and she had this 33% rule. And she said you could break people into 3 categories. In the lower 33%, these are people where nothing is ever good enough. They just drain you. They suck the life from you. So I really hope that A, you're not like this, and B, you're not with other people like this. Then there's the middle third, and they're happy when things are going well. I've got some sympathy for this group. You know, it's easy to be happy when things are going well, but then you get down when not. So in fact, the circumstances are dictating their attitude. And there are days, I have to say, when I'm going through, when you're going through house moves and dealing with solicitors and everything else, circumstances when things aren't quite going well, it can definitely dictate your mood. But make those days the exception, because what you want to be in is the top 33%. These are people who remain positive even in tough times. So what I would like for you is that you are such a person, and that you surround yourself with people like this, because they are the leaders, the influencers, the game changers. So my question at the beginning was, are you in the right environment? Are you in the right environment? Because the choice is yours. And make sure that you are in the top 33% and that everybody wants to spend time with you. You've been listening to the Leadership Woman podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Please click like if you want to receive notification when this podcast comes out. Bye for now. See you next week.